When we started this company, we started right here in our garage.
We thought it was only going to be evenings and weekends. We already had our careers. Never in a million years did we ever think we were going to be here.
Hi, I'm Dane.
Hi, this is Levi with the Rag Company.
Hello, my name's Anthony and welcome to Wash Wednesday.
Hey boys and girls, the Junkman here with another video detailing series.
So we're getting the Rat Cobra ready for gloss coat.
Anthony, I've seen a sprayer before.
Watch this.
What the?
Foam. Lots and lots of foam.
But you guys are different.
Yeah.
You actually detail every car that comes in.
Yes.
Let's go inside and check out all these amazing cars.
This is gonna be really cool. We're on the road, heading to Rob Freddy's house to go do a video with him.
This isn't water, right?
It's not water.
I was gonna spray it in my mouth as a bit, but I'm not gonna do that. Don't. You don't want to do that.
This is our drawing wall.
So what, the person who orders something asks a drawing from you guys and you guys just do it?
Yeah.
Really? If you guys place orders and you have some quirky ideas,
Yeah, put it in the comments.
I'm just saying.
Oh, right? As many miles as you want and come back.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm driving a GT3 RS right now.
Oh my God!
I don't recommend doing this again. Did you learn your lesson, by the way?
No.
Okay, he'll probably do it again.
Anthony from the ride company with Morgan, helping out a good Samaritan while somebody else gets in a wreck.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Let's get the car, Dane. Yep.
And we've only just begun.
Wow. Who would have thought, right? All those years ago? Here we are, live TRCMA Day 2. That's right. And it's also Veterans Day.
It is.
And one of the great things is we actually have some veterans in the studio with us today.
We do.
So
yes.
we want to say thank you to them for their service. And for all of you at home who are veterans, thank you for your service all over the world. We appreciate it. And we couldn't be doing this without your service. And we, like I said, can't thank you guys enough.
Yes.
Now, today's a big day.
A big day.
And
big day.
It's probably our biggest day. And we couldn't do this without our sponsors, Koenig Wheels, PepsiCo, and Home to Suites by Hilton.
Still can't believe the Pepsi thing worked out. I still can't believe it.
This came in good luck, right?
It did.
That's how it works.
It did. It happened.
So, Anthony, what else we got? What's today happening? What are we doing?
So there is a lot today, right? This is a jam-packed day full of a ton of information and hopefully entertainment as well. So we have the crew from P&S right behind us here. We have Flex, we have Buff and Shine. That's going to be part of part 1 today, right? So we're going to be a two-part. Basically, we're going to be going on for 2 hours, taking a 2-hour break for lunch, and then coming back for another couple hours. And this is going to be, like I said, filled. This is going to be filled with a lot of detailing, a lot of knowledge, right? A lot of foam, right?
Yeah,
we're going to be seeing some foam. We're going to be seeing some foam today, and so hopefully this is going to be really entertaining, and hopefully you guys take away something from this. And if you guys haven't gone back and checked out day 1, please do, because day 1 was full of a ton of information from Coach Kemi, from Rupes, from us here at the Rag Company, as well as a walk around of our new media studio. Because what better way to hold TRCMA than here within the media studio?
That's right. Where's Dane at? He's not. I thought he was going to be
here with us. Is he still stuck in that closet?
Ah, Dane.
It's been a day.
Right, guys, this is the voice of TRCMA just floating in from above. But I've got some notes about what's going on today. You guys want to hear it?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so let's take a look at what's coming up today. Starting off, we obviously have P&S products. They're standing in the back, followed up by Buff and Shine. Then we'll take a lunch break, and then followed by Solution Finish and Detailer's Helper Rugged Restore products. You get the idea. There's a lot more to come. But before we get into all this, let's take a look at what P&S has to offer.
Some people think that P&S is just another chemical company.
Oh yeah, but we're not. We're family. Woo! And we love hanging out. Hey, did Bob just barefoot ski?
Some people think we're just a bunch of jet setters.
They're just a bunch of dreamers. love creating and mixing things up in the industry.
It's not just a product, it's a lifestyle.
Not only do we like to keep things clean, we like to get them dirty too.
They rev my engine.
We're just living the dream.
We all have our struggles.
PNS is, what was my line again?
Truth is, they bring the best in business.
For me, it's showing these boys how it's done.
We're all about certification, and some of us are certifiable.
And they're fun to work with.
The truth is, we love making cars shine.
We're all about service and serving others.
Our lifestyles are anything
but ordinary.
Listen, I wouldn't sell this P&S stuff if it wasn't any good, because I don't do that.
So if you'd like to be part of the P&S family and join our team, give us a call.
We did.
Good morning, Mr. Key.
Good morning, Bob.
Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
To
Appreciate
a good
it.
veteran like yourself. What do you rank here? You're retiring soon, though, right?
I'm retiring soon. Sergeant Major for the medical section of the 36 ID Surgeon's Office. So, yeah, it's been a great ride.
I can tell that's emotional for you.
It is.
This guy can't give away a box of cookies without crying. Right?
That's the tagline, right?
I know. It is a tagline.
Put that on my bio. Yeah, you know, it's originally Armistice Day, now Veterans Day. A day to celebrate those who've served their country across the spectrum, but mostly those who've served overseas in the theater of combat. So thank you to all you guys out there who have served and are continuing to serve. I have some friends who right now who are in the Middle East. So be safe, take care. We'll see you guys when you get home. We're looking forward to it. I'll be there. I just won't be in uniform anymore because I retire in January. So after 32 years, time to hang up the spurs, the boots, and the uniform, and get a little more involved with PNS if that's possible. So,
dude, I think you need a hug. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, how cool is it to be here at the Rag Company? I mean, this is an amazing facility, right? Talking to Levi this morning was very interesting because this year is very unique, right? We really haven't seen each other. We haven't seen our friends. So this is a great opportunity for us to get together, show off some of our stuff, show off some of our people and our new products.
And kind of going with our conversations we've had the last week or so, it's a chance to get that hug in with our friends and our colleagues in the industry. So if you're a detailer, hey, we miss you guys. We wish you all were here, or we were all at SEMA last week together. But this is what we've got, and we're going to make the best of that and have a great time. So shout out to Jeff and Carolyn. Thanks for having this, putting this together. This is a huge undertaking.
Right.
And we can't say enough about how special it is to be in a place where we can really shoot good quality videos, do education, and share what we do. Speaking of which, let's share what we do. So we've got a new product out, or actually a new system out.
Correct. Yeah.
And that really is, it's called Chemtrol, and it is both the dispensing and the chemical. So let's talk about the equipment first. We got 2 units. What do we got going on here, Bob?
Right. So actually at SEMA 2019, we launched the Chemtrol dispensing system.
All by themselves.
Yeah.
They were a little lonely for a while.
Yeah, and then, you know, we always take feedback from our customers, and basically they came back to us and said, hey, you need to add a chemical line to it. So Chemtrol, really the spirit of Chemtrol is to help organize a shop, whether you're an enthusiast, whether you're a professional, help with product dispensing, organization, and really address the concerns around managing the high consumption chemical items that are associated with the detail operation.
Yeah, we've talked for years in the industry about kind of a unit like this that we see really at the bulk user, which is the dealership and the high volume car wash type locations. But the cabinet unit's really kind of unique, and it's a special thing to bring to the industry because we think there's a cool segment that'll go for a product like this that can really help them manage their program well.
Yeah, the Chemtrol gallon fill station is this unit right here. And this is what really excited us about this offering, quite frankly, because
up until this point, it was always left to the high volume customer.
Yeah.
So this is a gallon fill station in which we actually insert the chemtrol gallons into the fill station unit, and then we proportion them out of there. This is not an electrical unit, Keith. This is run by water, right?
Yeah,
Water
it's all
pressure.
hydro run. It's a Venturi valve system, real technical term there. But basically what it means is the water pressure pulls the chemical up through the tube, through a metering tip, which meters it at the proper ratio. We'll talk about ratios in a second. But cool part is it's push and play. I mean, literally go push the button, fill the whatever bottle or bucket you've got, and it's ready to go.
So anybody could put this in their garage?
Anybody.
Right.
And we've put it in a couple of garages here lately. Sydney, we'll see in a second. She's got it in her garage. She got the first one. And then Kyle put it in his. And then Renny's got it. So it's the Christmas present for the rest of Team PNS if you're a detailer. So maybe I can get one in my garage this year.
Yeah, so realistically, I mean, we've got 2 buttons, we got some dials. Let's dive in and tell, exactly what these are for, essentially. So again,
both units are kind of the same on the operational side. We'll focus on the cabinet because that's kind of the cooler, neater,
the sexy unit, right?
Sexy unit.
So once you've decided what chemicals you put in there, whether it's a car wash soap, glass cleaner, wheel cleaner, general purpose cleaner, once we set them up, we essentially run a dip tube into there in which it's a one-way flow valve, and then it inserts into this system where we put a metering tip. So let's just talk car wash real quick. So we hook up body wash. That's diluted at 200 to 1. We put a predetermined tip in there. And then we have 2 flow rates. So let's talk about those.
So we have a 1 gallon per minute flow rate. So if you've ever filled up or tried to fill up a bottle like this from your garden hose, it doesn't work real well because it's too high a flow rate.
Right.
So a 1 gallon per minute flow rate is perfect for filling a bottle like this. It won't over foam out the top. You can get it all the way up to the neck. And it's a real easy, so it's called a bottle filler, 1 gallon per minute. And that's the black button on both units.
Right.
And then the red button,
for the car wash,
red
soap,
is,
which we were just talking
high flow.
about.
That's a 3.5 gallon per minute. So
essentially what the user could do, the professional or enthusiast, essentially once they have their car wash soap in here, doors closed, everything's set, they turn the dial to the car wash soap setting, and then basically we have labels so you can predetermine which is located in what spot.
They match the bottles, which we'll also be getting to in a second.
Correct.
So
this hose would essentially drop down into your bucket right here, just like that, drop into your 5-gallon bucket container. You would depress this button right here, and it would automatically proportion the soap, right, at 200 to 1 and with this particular product, and then fill your bucket in essentially a minute with 3.5 gallons of water.
And if you just don't have the patience to hold the button for a minute, there's a little lock lever here that you can just push up. That'll fill it for you.
Right. So then when you're done, you just
minute. So how long can it? Yeah.
Pull it undone just like that. So essentially, how many products can we dispense through this unit right here?
We could do 8 distinct products, or if you have a multi-use product, say something like, EnviroClean, one of our favorite products, where you might use it at one strength for, say, a heavier cleaner and at another strength for a lighter or interior cleaning, we have the ability to split that into multiple port outlets so we can meter it at different ratios. So we can put 4 chemicals in the cabinet, but we can do up to 8 products total out of this single unit. So that's really cool. It gives you a lot of versatility, real easy to just decide, what product you want to use and use the multi-use product. Because sometimes, you don't want to buy 12 products when 5 will do. And we got 6 here. So.
Right. So let's just fast forward. I'm the enthusiast at home. I've got my car wash soap, glass cleaner, wheel cleaner, interior cleaner in here. What's the benefit to a guy at home or person at home detailing?
The real benefit is that your product doesn't get stale in your jugs. The other thing is appropriate proportionment, and that's the huge thing. Is we always have talked about the glug method. Well, I'll put a couple of glugs of car wash shampoo in there, and you don't always get the right mix, and so improperly diluted chemical can cause damage if it's too strong, or is not effective if it's not strong enough. So first thing it does, it saves you a ton of time. You don't have to mess around with the chemicals. Oh, I'm out of EnviroClean, I'll just fill up my bottle.
Right.
And I'm done. The second thing is it gets you the product on time, on target, as we say in the military, which means you're going to get the right volume of product in the right proportions for the job you're trying to do. And then the third thing I think is really cool is it organizes your stuff. Man, it's right here. You don't
all
have
on
to
the shelf,
look
ready to
for
go.
it. You don't even have to take it off the shelf. You just walk up and push a button.
Right.
And so that's really super convenient.
Now, do we have to use the Chemtrol products through there?
You don't, and we actually, Pearl is one of our favorite products, and it's set up for that. But any product that you want to use, you can use through there. There is a metering tip chart
That we're going to dilute with water.
that
for
we
sure.
dilute with water.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're using ready to use, which one of our products in the system isn't necessarily ready to use, but is one that we would recommend hand dilution,
Right.
you can do that separately. But this is really for your high dilution rate stuff. The biggest benefit is if you're buying, when you buy product that's concentrated,
right,
you get more bang for your buck because the gallon shows up, but it makes 4, 10, 20, 30 gallons of product.
Exactly.
So you can buy in smaller quantities and get the volume of use out of it at the end, which
Right.
is huge if you're an end user because you don't want to have to keep buying a quart or a gallon every time you.
So if you're enthusiast, this organizes your shop. But if you're professional, what this does is essentially help you manage your chemicals.
Well,
for
manage
your
your
team,
chemicals, it secures them. But the other thing it does is it really cleans your shop up. And we talk a lot about that we're in the appearance business. So appearance of the shop is a thing. You know, it helps sell to the customer. They want to see that you're professional, you use professional products. And this really kind of puts on a nice show for them. But if you're a low to medium volume shop, this is a great way to get some high dilution rate product.
Right.
You don't have to have a lot of that product on the shelf. You got one in the can and you got one on the shelf. You got plenty of product for a long time to use.
Right, so this unit is for gallons. Now, essentially, if you're really a high volume shop, you would jump over to this unit right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is essentially the same unit right here. All the guts are the same, but instead of picking up for the individual gallon containers, we've got 5s or 55 gallon drums on the floor, and now we're metering into that.
Yeah, because let's face it, if you are washing cars in your home shop or your small business, you're washing 1 or 2 cars a day. But if you're doing dealer work, you've got 20, 30, 40 cars that come through that wash bay in a day. You've got to have a volume of product on hand, and switching out gallons will get a little cumbersome for those high volume guys. So going to the 5s, the 55s, or the 30s is really a huge thing. What I really like is that we can get some of these guys who've been buying 55s for years in a closer to ready to use product into a 5-gallon pail of a higher concentrate product.
Right.
So again, eliminate the clutter, less stuff laying around the shop. Product tends to get spoiled because of open orifices on drums. The 5-gallon pail really cleans up your shop if you're a high volume user, and you can go with a product line like this.
So professional, this organizes, pairs it with the color, the color-coded matching spray bottle. But then not only to that, it helps manage consumption. We know this. We've been in this industry a while.
Yep.
Correct?
3 days.
Product proportioning isn't new. So literally, we know that if a professional puts this in their shop, when we're talking about the high consumption items, they can reduce their product expenditure by about 30% when they introduce these items with a dispensing system like Chemtrol.
And it's really a lot easier to monitor your chemical usage. Obviously on the home user, you got a little view window here, you can see it. And your 5-gallon pails, you can monitor those as well. But it really does help you kind of control that. The other thing it does, and this is, I think, super important in today's day and age, we talk about COVID and safety, but the reality is we're mandated by OSHA to have labeled bottles that are according to what's in them and legally labeled with the proper hazard labels. And so this gets you compliant. And if you're a shop manager, compliance is always a challenge between hearing protection, eye protection, gloves,
or
all
your
those
home
kind
shop.
of things.
You want it to look cool.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
want it to look cool, but you also want it to be safe, and this gets you compliant.
So let's summarize. So we got 2 units here. We got our gallon fill station right here. We got our bulk fill station here. But then we've got a grouping of chemicals here.
So when this came out at SEMA last year, again, we got that feedback.
Right.
So what did? We did a Hey Dave. And we
need some new juice.
With Dave Phillips, our chemist, and said, hey, Dave, we need some new juice. But it's not all new juice, is it, Bob?
No, some of the, many of the products, Body Wash, Knockoff, EnviroClean, and TrueView have been part of the PNS line. These have been part of our legacy line and amazing performing products.
Right.
We rebranded them and pulled them in the Chemtrol line.
Right. So we've got a uniformity of label, much like our double black line. This really just cleans up the line and makes it visually pleasing, but also kind of matches the compliance and makes it easier on the end user.
Right, and what we did with the Chemtrol line is we really built it to pair with the system.
Right.
So everything is, pre-titrated, so we know exactly what the tip is, and we were very clear on that. So much so that on every container we put on the back, we've got a dilution ratio chart, very clear, and then also associated with each bottle is all the information on there. And really the Chemtrol product line is about the high consumption stuff. This is where, this is about 70% of what a enthusiast or professional would use. We have obviously a car wash, soap, and body wash. Knockoff is a non-acid wheel cleaner. We have 2 degreasers, one standard duty, EnviroClean, one heavy duty, Tempest, and then we have a glass cleaner, and then we have a tire dressing. Really, when you look at a shop or even just at home, this is about 70% of the detail.
Yeah, that's really
This is your car wash. This is the whole.
This can also be used as an all-purpose type cleaner at the right ratio on the interior of the car, so that kind of knocks that out for us. So it's really a solid system that covers the bulk of what they're trying to do in a real concise way, concentrated. It's all legal, it's all compliant, it's all easily marked, and it's color-coded. So if you didn't notice, the blue goes with the blue. Let me knock some bottles over here.
Can you do it again?
And the white goes with the white. So we really, it's a well thought through system. It all matches down to the little labels that go on the dial marks match these product lines. So it's kind of cool that it all pairs together. And we like to pair things because it keeps it simple, keeps it clean, concise, and at the end of the day, that equals efficient. And that's what we're after with a system like this.
So if our customers are looking for the ability to organize their shop, whether they be a professional enthusiast, they've got a dispensing unit, they got a complete product line, they can introduce Chemtrol in there, or they can pull products in that they normally use.
Right, and we did that actually in Renny's shop last week. We put both the body wash and we put Pearl on it.
Right, exactly.
Because he's somehow got a thing for Pearl. I don't know what it is, but I think we're about to find out what that thing is that he's got a thing for Pearl about.
So thank you guys for listening to Keith and I on Chemtrol, and we're looking forward. We'll jump over to Renny, Sydney, and Dave, and we'll learn a little bit about Pearl.
Well, let me tell you, guys, that's an amazing system, and I just love the fact that it's now in my shop. I know you've got it Sydney yours.
Yeah.
So I pulled in a little talent. So Sydney's our resident badass home-based detailer with a pretty amazing home-based shop. Dave is the chemist. He's our hoo-ha guy that makes all this come together. Now, having a product line, it's kind of like having kids. You're not supposed to have your favorite, but you do. And so Pearl, if I go back when I was detailing for Fred Flintstone, we actually had semi-round wheels and tires. Soap was kind of boring, right? But this is quickly became probably my favorite product in our line. And the reason why is the chemistry is right on spot. There's a reason Dave's here. We'll have him bring in on that. But the usage of what we can do. The other thing is if I hold this bottle up, you come in close, it's very thin. So it doesn't float at the top of the bucket, doesn't float at the bottom of the bucket, doesn't all sink to the bottom. It's all the way through, and I love that. The other key thing is that it's so many purposes. Is that we can take it and use it in a bucket. We can use it for a nail rinse. We can use it in a foam can like we're gonna do today. Probably my favorite new thing is I love gadgets. So these guys have got me just absolutely addicted to the IK sprayers. So Anthony was over here, we're toying with it. We got the foam, didn't we? We got foam just perfect. And so this has quickly become, so this is kind of like the talking pillow. So I'll pass it along. All right. And then that way you can kind of share what you like about Pearl.
Yeah, so like Renny said, it's a super versatile product. I use it obviously for washing the car, but I use it for a lot of unconventional stuff too. So it's a great hand soap. So we all need hand soap in our shops right now, right? So it makes a great hand soap, doesn't dry your skin out. The other thing that I like it for is they have this Swiss Tracks in here, and it's a great to mop your floor with.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I use it for that. It gets all the grease off and doesn't leave behind any film or soap or anything. So that's one of my favorite uses for it. And then obviously I love it in the IK form.
Are you using it for a clay loop at all?
I do, yeah.
I love it as a clay loop, believe it or not. 1 ounce of that in a bottle?
Yep. I do use it when I'm trying to clay at the same time as washing.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
See, and I use it separate. I actually use it when we're really going to get deep on a correction. We're going to have to do a lot of tape off.
Yeah.
Is that so nothing gets onto the trim, so the actual tape sticks to the trim. And I've got my buddy Rick in Oregon to thank for that. He's got me addicted to our own product for that use. So Dave, talk about, this went a different direction as far as soaps because it's thin. So let's talk about that for a second.
Well, so yeah, just to say it again, and it's really nice to find that when you put together and you're trying to put together a versatile product, you end up with a versatile product, and that's what we were really going for with Pearl. It is a thin product, so it's easily dilutable through a proportioning system. That was one of the original purposes. It is also designed to just clean the surface and clean the stuff off the surface and leave what you want behind. So, part of the hand thing is that we've, kind of made the product mild. Yet you can't be too mild. You got to be cleaning the surface. So, given the, the rinseless wash, the bucket wash, the foaming wash, and leaving the materials you want. So your paint protection films, fine. Your coatings, fine. Your spray wax products last longer when you're using this material. So we're really, really happy with it.
Well, I think you just nailed it, because coatings have become such a big topic, right? I mean, it's the buzz. And it's really changed the game for our industry, whether you're a pro or a pro consumer, is that we found out, I'm a car junkie, got a lot of cars, live in an area, snow country, ski country, cars get miserably dirty, easy. We're into off-roading, military search and rescue. So I take my vehicles out on post sometimes, and so we're doing search and rescue. They come back. It's amazing, because I'll take and foam on Pearl, and then rinse it, and it rinses so easy. But coatings, it's safe for coatings. That's a big topic, a big hit point that I want to take and cover. What's some of the characteristics on soaps? What would cause damage to modern day, not damage, but maybe deterioration on coatings? And why is this so safe for it?
So yeah, you're looking for a neutral pH. You're looking for a level of detergency that is not going to strip the surface.
Gotcha.
So Keith and I were talking a little earlier. I mean, some of the more aggressive detergent products have been purposely left out of this. Things you would typically find in a professional soap. Yet we've reformulated in other materials to keep cleaning up to the level it needs to be.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you don't want to, you just don't want to be stripping. You don't want to be,
Absolutely. We've even found it with, bead maker with our own product, is that, again, it's not taking and eating the bead maker off. It's leaving a lot of good, healthy things intact on the car while still cleaning it.
Right, so you need good rinsing.
Absolutely.
I mean, good rinsing is you need good lubricity, just like any soap. You need good rinsing, you need good lubricity, you need, a nice cleaning ability to the product, dilutability, durability, foam durability.
Right.
Obviously foam, we're big on foam.
Right, absolutely.
People come to me, and they go like, well, I've got this low foam. It's like, no.
No, man, I want my bubbles.
Wrong place.
I want bubbles.
We are big on foam. So, we've also got that.
So did you guys see, this is kind of a funny story. I put it up on social media, and it was either a hit or not. Is that my wife wasn't home, and I get away with murder when my wife's not home. And I decided to try Pearl as a bubble bath. And I overdid it just a little bit, and the bubbles, literally like in a movie, it covered our entire bathroom. Oh my God. So I spent like an hour and a half cleaning up the bubbles, because, but it did make my skin feel good. So yeah, I'd love to take and see if we can get Anthony to come in and join us on this, because I want to take and share some of the different aspects. And this is his shop. I know he uses this product, and so we're going to kind of recruit him in. So let's get done with the talking. Anthony, get in here and let's start showing everybody kind of what we use these products for. So, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? Yeah. You guys touched up on a lot of good stuff. I'm talking to you guys. You guys covered everything. And the fact that we have the chemist here it's very helpful. I think it kind of concretes the fact that this is something that they can kind of trust in, and they can listen to Dave, because he knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, he kind of starts to lose it a little bit. So we caught him on a good day.
That's exactly
right.
Well, we let him out of his laboratory because we're busy developing right now, right?
He doesn't get a lot of sleep, right? He's constantly mixing bead maker. But no, a couple cool things about Pearl that I really liked is that you guys will notice it's a new bottle design, right? So previously it was in the black bottle, and you couldn't really see what was in it, right? How much product you had left, or what color the product even was. And so whoever came up with the idea.
Do we know him?
I don't know. Some guy came up with the idea. Was it Levi back there?
He could be in the building right now,
No, I don't like credit for things. That's okay, right, Levi? It's fine.
He's so humble.
So anyway, so going back to not just the bottle design, but kind of going back to what you guys were talking about, right? So when we were first introduced to Pearl, it was at the exact same time we were introduced to Bead Maker, right? Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Years ago, you brought the swirl assault vehicle, and you said, "Hey, I want to show you guys how to do a rinseless wash with Pearl." And we're like, "Dude, Renny's lost it, man. He's off his rocker. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And then kind of just showed us, demonstrated right there on the swirl assault vehicle, and then from there we followed up with Bead Maker, and we felt it and we said that actually worked. That actually was a real thing, right? And so we thought he was full of it. But not only does it work as a rinseless wash, but it works fantastic as a foaming agent. And so we've basically shown this in I don't know how many Wash Wednesdays where we've used Pearl and foamed it up. And one thing I like about it is that because of the viscosity of it, because of how thin it is, it's extremely easy to use for people that are just getting into these handheld sprayers, right? Like the IK sprayers, right? And so that's like a really hard thing because you guys don't know how much troubleshooting I do with people that say, "Hey, I just bought the thickest car shampoo I've ever bought and it's sinking to the bottom of this sprayer," and they just go straight into it. It clogs up their filter. And I say, "No, man, you want to make sure to stir that up completely." And they're like, "Well, I don't know how to do this." So with this, it makes it really easy. I just say, "Hey, add 4 ounces of this, add 1 ounce to this," and it just makes it super simple. And they have the same result every single time. There's no difficulty there. And so I like that fact about it. And I also like the fact that it doesn't clog up. It doesn't. You could probably explain this a little bit easier than I can. A lot of other soaps, right? Once it gets cold out, they turn into gels. I try to tip that thing over and pour it out, and it literally just won't come out, right? Whereas this stays the same viscosity no matter what temperature it really gets to, unless I guess you're in sub-zero, right? And if you're washing a car out in sub-zero, then you might want to find some other better things to do, unless that's your job, right? So explain a little bit why this stays so thin compared to traditional soaps that are thicker.
Right, and we have to put some effort into that to keep this from getting thick. A lot of the foaming stabilizers actually thicken the product as they go.
Okay.
So the more stabilizers you put in, the thicker the product will get.
Gotcha.
Well, we needed to find stabilizers that did not thicken the product and still create a good foam and a good stable foam that clings. So we basically just used a different set of ingredients to do that. The result being that you're not doing the gel, you're not getting the gel, so you don't get the clogging.
Gotcha.
And the clogging is temporary. I mean, even on the other situation is that the gels go away, and it's not a big huge problem, but it is an inconvenience.
It is an inconvenience, especially when it's colder, right? Because we film tons of videos outside, right, in this type of weather in November, right, where we still want to show, some foam can in action or do something like that, and we'll go out there and mix it, and we'll have all that gel sit to the bottom of the canister.
And the temperature is a big deal because, and we've had this, some people want their shampoos to be thick.
Yeah.
The temperature hits 110 and they go like, "Well, something happened to my soap. It's too thin." Well, no, it's a temperature. And so the opposite is true. When it gets really cold, they just get too thick.
Yeah. Interesting point is that I used to be really into thick foams.
Okay.
And the IK sprayer, since we've gone with the pressurized unit, I started playing around doing some testing, and we just happened to have a physicist up at the shop a couple weeks ago, Michael Hill. And what he shared with me is the fracture point on thicker foams sometimes can just slide down the door and not take things with it.
Yeah.
What we found out is that when you want thick foam, you can get thick foam. But sometimes when our vehicles are really dirty, to put it on with that IK a little thinner, I've actually found that it actually takes and increases the effectiveness of the foam. So I think we show them right now on the three different sources.
Absolutely. So what I want to probably do first, right? So we'll get the elephant out of the room first. I think we'll go ahead and do the foam cannon, right? Just to show people, just show you exactly what it is, so that way we don't lose people. They're going to be like, "That's all it's got in that little foamer." No, we'll show them what it can really do.
Well, since I've learned a lot of foaming off of you guys, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
I'm going to be selfish because I like the IK pump sprayer.
Okay.
Man, that thing's, and then you've got a little trick that you like to use with the handheld.
Yep.
So does it sound good? And then Dave, you're going to tell us what we're doing wrong.
You can just stand back and point, right?
Yep.
All right, so grabbing this here, this is going to get slick, so I want to warn everybody too, on this mat here, this capture mat, it can get a little slick, so just kind of watch your step. Typically, we like to wear Crocs in here. We're still awaiting our custom Croc charms that we got, little TRC logos. Levi ordered those. Whatever happened to those?
I don't know.
Okay, I guess they got lost.
Hopefully they'll get here soon.
They got lost in the mail. So here we have, this is the PF22 by MTM. So this is the new design, right? So this is going to have your new kind of cartridge down here below. The previous design, I wouldn't say it was flawed, but it always tipped over, right? Whenever you'd set it down, it'd tip over and it'd spill out everything. So this new design here kind of keeps it standing straight up, especially when you go for a quick disconnect. So typically, like you guys have seen from my experience, right? I always like to kind of shoot a shot first, right? Make sure that this thing doesn't go flying off. Not saying that that's happened on camera before, but it definitely has. So I'm going to knock out this front fender here and just kind of show you what kind of cleanliness this is going to have. And so the long dwell time is super helpful because you have working time, especially if you're in direct sunlight. You can get around the car without having to worry about that soap literally just falling off, as Renny says. So the long dwell time is extremely nice. I don't think we're really agitating anything today. I think we're just kind of showing you what kind of foam it lays down. So we have this hooked to our Krenzla, and let's lay it down. So a couple things you're going to notice, right? So not only does it have extremely good coverage, but the one thing I really like is if you really want that I don't know, let's just say if you really want that, I can't say foam porn on the thing, but I just said it. That's too bad. So basically, if you really want it to build up, you can have it build up. And you can have it to where it starts building off of itself and really, really lays down a really thick layer. But it's all personal preference, right? Some guys just like to do a quick shot and say, that's all the foam I need. Don't waste any more than what's necessary and go straight into washing, whereas some people really like to build that up and put on a good show. So that's kind of what to expect, and the dilution on this is roughly 5-to-1 on here, so you'll get good foam. If you really want to go crazy with it and you really want to build up as much foam as you possibly can, I say you can even go 1-to-1, right? But you're going to be rinsing a little bit more because you have more soap on the surface. So that's kind of what to expect out of a PF22, and I think that the Krenzla is rated for what, how many PSI?
I think about 1,800.
1,800, right? So if you put this on a gas pressure washer, pushing out 2,200 to 2,500, it really gets airy, it really gets bubbly, and it really gets extremely thick while using less product too. So I always tell people, if you can, have a higher output pressure washer for foam, but if you're running something with 1,800 and less, this is about what you would expect and what you would get. So that's the PF22. So I'm gonna let
Here
Renny
we go.
come in. Did you pressurize that on that bad boy?
We did. We
Okay.
took. Let's take a look.
Did you repressurize it?
We didn't repressurize it.
Okay, you're gonna want to repressurize it.
Okay, so we didn't. So check it out. You see how thick it's coming out right there. What I love about this is check this out, man. It's really quick. So if you've got, and you don't need a huge compressor for this, so you can hear it filling up. So
You're going to keep holding it in. Use those fingers, Renny. Yep, keep it going all the way until that tip pops.
So it's going to pop. There it is.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
There it is.
There it
Hear
is.
the valve? So once that pops, that's good. I just push it down because I like a lot of pressure. I'm going to take and do a little trick that Anthony taught us. I'm going to come in, and again, I like to put it on. And you see it's a little thinner. But what that allows us to do is a little more dwell time. And again, if the car is really, really dirty, what you're going to find out is that I see it going in and kind of pulling away from the surface, and it's not fracturing. It's not just dripping down the car. So I love this system. The other thing I like is that it's a separate tool. So I can have my pressure washer going and not disturb my workflow. And so if I'm a professional, I'm making more money. And so that's what it's all about. So Sydney, you want to show us your little trick?
Yeah. So I'm a rinseless gal myself. That's my favorite way to wash a car. So I like the handheld IK sprayer. The cool thing about this product is you can use it in both the sprayers. So this today that we have it in the foamer, but it also works great in the multi. So I use it kind of as a get the dirt soaking, get it off of there. So you can see this gives really great coverage as well. So I will just foam this, and then I just use the bucket of water with the scrub pad and get it all wiped off there and clean, and then just dry it. So it's great that you can use it as a rinseless and not have to rinse it, which is super great. And I actually like it in the multi when I'm doing rinseless, and I'll use it this way when I'm doing a bucket wash. Yeah. So that, and then one other cool thing that I wanted to mention, kind of going back to the Chemtrol a little bit, is I know that other detailers and production shops will feel me on this, that getting the exact dilution in the IK sprayer can be a little bit tricky. So what's cool about the Chemtrol is you can set it up, and when you're filling up your IK, so awesome. So that's probably my favorite thing.
Heck yeah, man. And
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
that's another big important thing, right? And so IK, if they're probably in here watching this as well, right? The dilution thing is huge. I can't tell you guys, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people through dilution every single year on the IK sprayers because some people are new to it, right? And some people don't like to read instructions. I'm one of those guys that doesn't like to read instructions, and I like to jump straight into it, figure it out for myself, but some people really do need help. They need to be walked through on this. So for reference here, so on the IK Foam Pro 12 that Renny was shooting here, we had roughly 5 ounces of pearl in the IK 12, and that's really all you need. You don't need to go more than that. I tell people if you want thicker foam, you can go with a higher dilution, so if you want to throw in anywhere from 7 to 9 ounces, you can, but make sure you're using the actual air compressor, the air chuck on that, so it actually gets it as full as possible, right? Because when you start hand pumping things, you're going to have a fluctuation in basically the airflow when that's happening. But when you're using an air chuck, you have that constant pressurization, which is fantastic. And so for the IK Foam Pro 2, if you have this, I tell people 1-2 ounces is pretty much all you need, and you're going to still get foam out of there. And another cool topic too is that when I actually was talking to IK, right, and I was talking to the actual the person who created the sprayer, right? The entire technical team behind the IK sprayers. When I was explaining pearl and the viscosity of it, it made total sense to them, and they loved the idea of pearl because it doesn't clog up the filter as much as a thicker gel-like substance would, and it also just has a longer spray time. And that's the other cool part about pearl is because of the viscosity, you're able to spray it for longer with actually less air. And so, but other than that, though, man. Dude, I love pearl. I think it's awesome. I think for the price, I think for the quality, for the slickness, and the fact that it doesn't leave any residue behind, and it's something that you can use out in direct sunlight. I think it's one of the best you can get.
Yep.
So anyway, from here, I think that we're going to pass it over to Dane because Dane has questions that we want to get answered. Right? Dane, are you ready?
Yes, we do have a number of questions. I was actually just asking about that because I knew we had a lot of people here who were like, oh, come on, give me a chance. So let me go to my queue, and I will start pulling some stuff. I'll start with an easy one here. If the guys with the chemtrail unit there can say, we have Tom Suman here asking, is the chemtrail unit on the PNS website?
Is the chemtrail unit on the PNS website?
Not available yet?
Not yet.
Next week.
Not available
next
yet.
week?
Okay.
Are you sure? You promise? Pinky promise?
I promise, Anthony.
Promise.
Okay. All right.
Work
Next
real
week.
hard on it.
All right.
Making
what
a
else we got,
promise.
Dane?
All right. Then I'm going to go back to some earlier ones I had here. Check. Okay. Here's one from Alkaline Topaz. This one's probably a good one for Dave.
Okay.
Alkaline Topaz is asking, huge fan of bead maker here. Can you talk about what causes it to streak or attract dust, say like certain environmental conditions, and what we can do to address those issues if they occur?
Okay. Yeah, I know you can't hear. So I'm gonna fill you in here. So Alkaline Top Hat, right? He's a big fan of our podcast. He's asking what would cause bead maker to streak or attract dust in outdoor conditions, basically.
Oh.
Right.
What would be the cause of that if it were to happen?
Jumping subjects, yes.
Sorry, Rich. I know, these are our
Good.
commenters. This happens. They have attention span of a squirrel, and I'm the same way, so I get it.
So we've addressed the dust issue, and I've actually done testing.
Okay.
And basically, what causes dust to happen is the environment, and so I've done strips on cars with no product.
Oh, okay.
Tape lines. Bead maker, and then even anti-stack products, and run them side by side, and then viewed that surface on an actual car over time. And what you find is there doesn't appear to be any difference. What happens is when there's dust, it's shocking almost, how much dust there actually is. But it is not caused by the product. I invite you to try the same thing that I did, and you'll find that it's not collecting more dust than you would ordinarily find on the surface.
One of the interesting points on that is that we have found, detailers, either professional or pro amateurs.
Yeah.
They're kind of mixologists.
Yeah.
And so we've found a lot of people are taking and maybe using a soap that's got a little wax in it or protectant in it. Mm-hmm. And they're cross-contaminating surfaces. So it's not just with bead maker, it's across the board, is when you start mixing different chemistry on the surface of the car, you got to remember there's a reaction on that surface. And so when you start mixing things up, as far as direct sun is, we've literally applied Beak Maker. You guys are on the Monterey team.
We were direct sunlight, man.
Direct sunlight.
Literally all day long.
All day long.
All day long.
And
yes.
some on some priceless cars. You know?
Yeah.
So the key is a 2-towel method. Your toweling is an important part of it, your selection. And then your towel, like when we're real hot, I'll actually completely soak the towel in Bead Maker, wring it out, and then I'll spray the towel, apply, and the dry towel behind it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's right in relationship to that too is even your dry towel is static. So if you got a little wind or a breeze, or even parts environmentally, if you live in an area that's got a lot of static in the air, is that just spray your drying towel just with a mist when you wipe it down, and that will help both of those cases quite a bit.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, and I think that's a big thing about Bead Maker. And so it's a hard thing about using Bead Maker is that when you're spraying Bead Maker, you like to use a lot, right? We all just like to soak a car in Bead Maker. It's not just because it smells good, but it's also it's just fun. It makes the entire experience better. And I think we've all been at that point where we're drying a car, right, without any type of drying aid or without using Bead Maker, and we're halfway through and we're like, this does not feel as good as before. And then you go back inside and grab Bead Maker, right? And so I think it all depends on your environment, it depends on the application, it depends on how much Bead Maker you have built up on the surface as well too, right? Because there's some guys that will do heavy application after heavy application after heavy application, and sometimes they will get streaking because they've built up so much protection on that car. And so I tell people, hey, if you're going to keep applying that, right, instead of doing a full-on heavy coat, do a couple spritz here and there. Your car is protected. Literally every single square inch of your car is protected. Yeah, you're covered. And you're good. You're already good for months, right? But they like to use it. And it's not a bad thing. I like that people like to use product. I get it. But at the same time, right, you have to kind of find that point where you say, okay, less is more. Less is more. Exactly.
Now I got some more here for you guys.
Can I
yes, please, Dave, please jump in.
So as far as the streaking is concerned, or whether it depends on whether you're talking about a running streak or whether you're talking about highs and lows.
Yeah.
So the highs and lows basically do happen exactly like you said if you start getting a lot of product on the surface. And what I find is finding a good lighting situation, good lighting for when you're doing it. And it's not lighting like we see in the studio here. It's actually kind of a shaded light seems to be the best application scenario. It's also the best application for putting on the product because you got a cooler surface, but it also allows you to see whether you've got a nice even wipe off. And it's really easy to wipe off. I think in some cases you just don't know you missed a spot when you can't see it.
Exactly, or you're carrying product on a wipe further than what you thought you were carrying it, right? And that happens, it's the same thing with like a coating, right? Where you go to take your towel and you go to wipe it and you've gone and you'd extend it into another panel that you didn't think that you wiped into, right? So instead of wiping inward and bringing the product into a panel, you're spreading it outward, and then you stand back, or you come back a couple hours later and you say, oh my God, I got streaks all over my car.
That's it.
Right?
We call them soft high spots.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
it runs into them. So
Dane,
great question.
So you said you had another question here.
Yes, I actually have several. So I'm going to go ahead and get back here. This looks like a copy paste we did maybe from another place. It says, PNS, have you some official distributor for Central Europe where I can buy your products, please? I tested BrakeBuster and it made amazing work on my wheels and tires.
Official distributor for Central Europe. Okay.
So I'll take that one.
All right.
So we have a distributor in Poland. We have distributors in Germany, Austria. We have distributors in the Netherlands, as well as in the UK.
Okay.
So, and we also have one in Norway. So that's where we have distributors that are regional to Europe, I guess is the best way to put it. We also have a distributor in Russia. So that's where we have distributors. That's the best place to look. And they are on our distributor locator. We don't have anybody in kind of southern, central Europe. But we're working on it. So
perfect. And you can just head to PNS's website, right? And you'll be able to find
go to PNS, hit the distributor locator, and just roll the map over and click on the little red dots, and it'll tell you who you're looking for.
Perfect. And that's actually just helpful for anybody that has any questions about distribution. Typically, if you head to the manufacturer's website, you find the distribution tab, click on that and try to find somewhere near you. Because we receive questions about that all the time, right? Where can we find this product or this product or this product? And I really think that going to the website, try to find it through the source is going to be the most helpful.
Keep up with us because it's always growing.
It's always growing.
Always changing. So we've got some South America distributors now. We've got the Middle East covered. So we're always growing, and we're always trying to add great new partners to help our fans get our product.
All right. So Dane, we might have time for one more question, but we have to start transitioning here to the next segment. So what do you got for me? Make it a good one, Dane.
All right.
Pick out a good one.
I'm going to go with the dangerous choice here. That is Grant Hawtrey.
No.
I'm going to throw him up here. He wants to see Renny put Anthony in a headlock and talk about Crocs.
No, I am not signing up for that, right? I do have my Crocs back there. I might pull out for later, right? It's a special occasion thing. So thank you, Dane. You made the best of that last question.
Fortunately, there were some other ones that were asked, but people did answer them in the comments. So I think we got everybody covered. Apologies if I missed yours, but we're doing our best here. So at any rate, I hear I've got a cutaway here. So let's see what that's all about.
Favorite weeks of the year. I normally go the day before, and I want to be there from the crack of dawn all the way until they close, and then a little bit beyond, and walk the whole thing. I'm going to miss out on my 12 or 13 miles of walking this year, but glad to see the ride company and a lot of the other amazing vendors that they're putting together or putting on a virtual type event to share with all of us. Sorry I couldn't be there. It's a bit of a hike for me to get out to Boise, but I think the information they're going to provide is going to be of value, and I'm excited to watch it and just be a part of it. But wanted to say what's up, and man, hopefully next year we can be back out at SEMA. It's so much fun finding new products, learning about new things. Every company feels the need to launch something new and exciting, and we have a little bit of a letdown this year, but at least everybody's putting together some itinerary to get that information out there, because that's one of my favorite parts of the whole experience. So anyway, just wanted to say what's up, and I guess I'll catch you guys next year. See you soon.
All right, so we've got our resident glass specialist. Sydney's going at it. So Sydney, tell us, what are you doing here? What's Clarity Clearing about? And before we go, we got to tell you, she went nuts on this product. When we started developing this product, that's all I think she was up drinking coffee until like 4 a.m. and then we'd be back in her little garage laboratory going crazy. And so tell us a little.
Killer will do that.
It will kind of amp you up. So we gave her a lot of coffee. So talk about kind of the development, what's behind that, and how you found, because it's an existing product that's been within the PNS line for some time, that we've kind of rebranded because of your love affair with it.
Yeah, so I think I probably started using it last November, December of 2019, and had kind of pulled it out of the depths of the lineup and started playing with it. And I remember, I think I actually called or texted Dave and Bob and said, you guys, this is the most amazing product I've ever used. So glass is kind of my thing. And one thing that I found was sometimes there's just a lot of environmental old water spots, light just marks on the, just that kind of had the glass not looking the greatest. So I started using it just to polish the glass. It just makes it nice and black, removes all those environmental marks, light water spots, even it can remove heavy water spots too. And so started doing that, made the windows look amazing. Then after that, we found out that it's a great base for our window coating, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But this is such a key to all details, not only the coatings, but even just it's that final pop, makes the car look amazing. What we've also found too is it helps keep the windows cleaner.
Absolutely.
Same as paint. If you remove that contamination, the dirt and dust just flies right off. Also, when you use glass cleaner, evaporates right away, no streaking.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. Detailers for years have been talking about glass cleaners. My glass cleaner streaks, or this one's not good, or my towels aren't clean. But the reality is, if you can get as fine a finish on that window, as refined as it can be, by polishing it out, boy, it's amazing how easily it cleans up with some glass cleaner and a great towel from the rag company here. So
the other thing that we found out too is it's really important to not just you're prepping it. You've been big on this. Is getting in there and making sure that we're using your guys' new clay system, and we're actually claying the glass before we even polish it. That's made a huge difference, because now when you get to the coating side of it, which we'll talk about here in a second, is that everything's sticking truly to the glass instead of any gunk that's left behind. So I think that you were really onto something. And at first I was kind of like Anthony said earlier of mine. I was like, she's out of her mind, crazy. She drank too much coffee, man. And then she said, no, really try it. And so I got in the laboratory last Christmas, started playing with it a little bit. And I was like, oh, dang, she's on to something. So
and when Renny says she's on to something and he gets a product he likes, what ends up happening is it ends up in the double black.
Yeah, that's exactly it. My name gets put on it, which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Ends up in the family of products.
That's it. So let's come on over. Let's talk about, you want to get rid of this for a second? So let's get rid of this. Let's talk about the products, and we'll go down. Now, since you're talking about you, let's talk about your process and how you do it.
Yeah. So the View is the new glass coating in the Inspiration line. So I will prep the glass with the Clarity Cream and then use the paint prep. So this is real similar to when we're doing coatings on paint. We need proper prep, and that's what's going to help the coating adhere and last longer. So we prep the glass, use the paint prep, and then apply the View. And this is a 2-part system. So you're going to put one coat on, and that's kind of giving you something for the coating to grab to. And then 45 minutes to an hour later, we do a second coat of the View, and then you're good to go.
Now, in between steps and before you actually coat, paint prep and why it's important.
Yeah, because you want to remove any leftover waxes or materials. You want to have just a really nice, clean surface for that coating to adhere to.
And in talking about this a little bit more, is that we're actually using this in between. So if we're doing a corrective stain, matter of fact, a little, I don't even know if I've shared this with you guys. If we're going deep, meaning that we're really going to go after correction, we're going to put an amazing coating on, we'll take and we'll use this as a clay lube.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing clay lube because it's really cleansing.
Yep.
It's also an amazing glass cleaner. Probably one of the best glass cleaners
we got tribute for that.
We do, but it's amazing glass cleaner. But also in between steps. So when we compound, we actually come through before we polish, because any smears or anything like that, you're going to pull out of there. You can see anything left behind if you had an oops moment. You reached over for that cup of coffee and didn't quite overlap right or something. It's going to show this off. So this is a really important part of the prep process on any of the coating that you're going to use.
And sometimes, we were talking about the bead maker question we got earlier, right? Great product to make sure you've gotten all those things that might not react real well to bead maker off the paint before you apply bead maker. So
absolutely.
Great product for kind of multi-uses there as far as getting that paint down to just bare paint so we can coat it or protect it the way we're planning to. So Sydney, 30 ml bottle. How many windshields are we typically, so you do all the windows or just the windshields? What do you do?
I'm typically just doing the windshield. On SUVs, I do a lot of the rear windows of SUVs just because they, gather a lot of ice and things like that.
All the stuff comes back on and gets them gunky pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't normally do the side windows. You certainly can. So I get about 10 vehicles out of one bottle.
So that's a lot of value for
and that's a double coat product.
Yeah, that's double coat.
That's a double coat. So kit comes complete with all this stuff, and I hear a rattle inside of here. It comes with our new label, which is kind of cool. If you install one of the family products or all of them, you've got a check sheet here, so they know where to come back to that authorized installer, which is really nice, kind of wraps up the professional feel of the service they're getting. And that's what it's about, right? It's having a professional product line that really services the customers and gives them the confidence that they're getting what they paid for. So same applicator, nothing special about this beyond compared to any other coating applicator we use. Same product we use in all of them.
This is kind of new to us, and a lot of people, we switched it over, and these guys have been a huge part of making that a reality for us, is that we just don't absorb as much coating on it. So let's talk about, any special applications other than that before we go on to inspiration?
So just one thing with the View is we do 2 coats, and then 2 hours later, it's always great to protect it with bead maker during the curing process. So I always go back over with bead maker, and then I also clean the windshield wipers with bead maker as well. Removes any contamination and kind of just gives them that extra glide.
That's a great point. It's also when you put the View down, is that last coat, keep the blades up, because if it comes down and comes in contact, it's going to make the rubber on the blades really quite hard. And so you're not going to do much windshield wiping with that. It's just going to go over the top of it. So you want to hear that once again?
And that
was
chatter
a pretty good sound effect.
is really annoying, but with the bead maker on the blades, and really if you polish that window out and you get the coating on there, no more chatter from those blades.
No.
Yeah.
And we were coming back this weekend, and Diane really we hadn't gotten any weather in Southern California in a while, right? Even in the mountains, we just hadn't. We were coming home, and I said, hey, Diane, check it out. Look at the cars around us. Windshield wipers going, windshield wipers going, windshield wipers going. I haven't turned the windshield wipers on yet. It was just poof, it was coming off. It was pretty cool to see. And that was put on 8 or 9 months ago. Now, we also baby our cars, but it's there.
But, so let's talk about that 8 or 9 months ago.
Okay.
So what's the average durability that we should expect out of this product before we jump over to our next thing?
Windshield coatings are tough because we've got decomposed granite where I live in the mountains, and it really wears down. So anywhere that you've got a lot of gunk in the air, maybe if you're in Arizona and there's sand, if you're by the water, sea air.
If you're in a mountain area like this where they maybe do a chemical treatment to the roads for de-icing.
Mag chloride.
Yeah, it can all be a variability, but we're looking at what, about a year?
Yeah, I think easily a year. I've had it on my personal vehicles now for about 11 months. I live in a mountainy area as well with quite a bit of contamination. And so what I feel on my own personal vehicle is it's still working great, but maybe at that 1 year mark, I might go back and just add 1 layer just to kind of top it off, but it's still performing really, really good. Even when I'm parking my car outside, the frost doesn't build up, the ice doesn't build up, they defrost super fast. There's just a ton of really great benefits to this coating. One that I want to mention is just bugs. I mean, you can literally with a towel just wipes right off.
So because we live, at almost 7,000 feet, that decomposed granite, we actually took and we just did the application process again at 6 months on my vehicle.
Yeah.
On Diane's, we're kind of, well, I'm not as interested in doing hers as much.
Letting it run out.
Go out and do hers, So don't tell her that. Diane, you can't watch this. So, or if you are, sorry.
I think she's occupied today.
Yeah,
she's out
she
with
is.
a friend. So,
she is.
So let's jump over to kind of the next edition. So these are our first two things we're talking about, are additions to the line this year. So let's go to Soul. And damn, that's a big bottle.
That's a big bottle.
So how big is that,
mils, 100 mils, man.
Okay.
Almost 4 ounces of product. And this has probably become a getting in. Scott kids, we're not supposed to have our favorites, but this is one of mine. Here's why I like it, is I come from, my career was mainly spent back when I met Levi. We were mobile detailers all the way through. Even if we had a shop, we were mobile. I like the fact that we're bringing a really, really good option to you mobile detailers out there. And so it's pretty exciting. It's a great topper.
So when you say
for
a good option for mobile detailers,
right?
Is it ease of use? Is it the ability to use it outdoors? What really makes it great for those mobile?
I think all the above. I think the key thing is that we never put coatings on in direct sunlight. You got to be under a canopy or a shady side of the wall. Dave mentioned earlier, I like shady stuff to put coatings on. I don't like to over.
Like shady
stuff?
That
didn't come out too good. I like proper lighting. Is that better?
That's better.
And so, and the reason why is I don't want to flood it with too much light. I actually, if you come in and we're coating, is we actually turn all the ambient lights off, and we just got 1 or 2 spots kind of randomly hitting the vehicle. And so I love the fact that we've got is a great product. That's a 1 year product, easy to apply. It's a great topper over inspiration, but did I mention it's simple? And so.
Well, and you can cover, typical coating application is, the kind of the bread box size, 2x2
full hood,
or 1 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah.
You can do half a hood in a single kind of
full hood.
or full hood.
Full hood.
And it goes really quickly. And the other part is, on the buff out time, there's a little bit more time for flash, but there's workability.
Yeah.
So if you're hand buffing that out and you leave a high spot, you've got a few minutes to kind of knock that down and not leave any residue.
Well, let's go to our original inspiration now. Okay. A lot of people, when we first came in, coatings were kind of new to us. We're a chemical company. Inspiration, let me tell you, you mentioned a half a hood. We're doing a half a hood now. And so I can take and the other thing is about inspiration is we have that longevity now. We've got, I won't mention their name, but they're in a really harsh environment. They've put a lot of different brands on all their personal vehicles in Scottsdale, Arizona. They're putting inspiration on, and they're getting the lifespan's unbelievable. So it's an old favorite, and it's an amazing. And then
it's a 2-layer system, right?
2 layers. Well, you can put it on as a single layer. But here's the good news. I'm going to let something leak out of the bag. You're probably going to see something new from us come up this spring. Rag Company will be, if not the first, but one of the first to get to play around with it. I'm going to tell you right now, you haven't seen a coating like this in a long time. It's an amazing, durable, long-lasting coating that's super simple to put on. It's going to blow your mind. That's all I'll leave it at.
And it's for our 60-year celebration. We're going to release
60
that
years.
first part of the year. Rounding out the product is the ceramic fabric coating protectant. Great product.
Leather,
we've done a lot of
suede,
stuff on this.
soft surfaces, carpets. Put it on thin, rub it in, mist it on, done.
Yep.
Okay.
All
so
right.
we're going to toss this to Dane here in a second. But before we go, I want to, again, thank the Rag Company. It's so cool to be able to come to a facility like this. You guys did a hell of a job building it. Again, thanks to Jeff and Levi and Anthony and Dane and Carolyn for inviting us up, putting this event together. So with that, Dane, I know we're a few seconds over, but hey.
And real quick, before we do that, I want to
okay.
thank him for all of his 30-plus years of service in the military. And I want to reach out to my kids. 3 of my 4 kids are all veterans. Thank you, guys. Congratulations, Sergeant Major. And it's going to be sad not seeing you in uniform. I'll miss you. We got to get in uniform one more time. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Off to you, Dane.
See ya.
All right. Thank you, guys. Great presentation. I know a lot of people were watching, and hopefully they got their questions answered. You guys did a great job. So, next up, now that we're a little past the hour here, we've got Buff and Shine coming up.
We could go take our...
That dusty old corral just outside the mining outpost of Denver, Colorado. Hook and loop prepare to engage in an old-fashioned showdown. Who's the fastest draw? Who's the strongest? Turns out these 2 pilgrims are equally fast and equally strong. The strength of their engagement makes the pads last longer and reduces heat. Don't be a dummy. Get a Rupe's Claw Pad Tool. Yeehaw!
Hey guys, Levi for the Rag Company, and I wanted to direct you over to our FAQ channel. Now, our FAQ channel is our way of answering all those questions you had as quickly and efficiently as possible. The FAQ channel is very simple. From whether you're just starting out detailing, you need to learn how to wash a car, or maybe you have a question on what a rinseless wash is, or something as simple as how do I wash my microfiber towels, you'll be able to find it at the Rag Company FAQ channel.
If you're watching this video, you're probably wondering how long can you store Optimum No Rinse inside of a bucket for?
The difference between an open cell and a closed cell foam pad.
Should I wash my microfiber towels after using a spray sealant? So we're going to be answering that question and more in today's FAQ video.
Well, there you have it. Hopefully now you know a little bit more about the FAQ channel, and if you're looking for it,
go to YouTube and type in the Rag Company FAQ and make sure you subscribe so that you'll be aware whenever a new video comes out. Now, if you didn't see your question answered, feel free to send us an email or leave a comment right there on a video, and we will be sure to add that to our next video. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and can't wait to see you guys there. Thanks for watching.
All right, welcome back. I jumped the gun a little bit. I forgot we had a small commercial break, but not to worry, because now, tuning in live from the studio, we've got Buff and Shine, we got some guys, we've got Flex Polishers as well here. So let's cut over to them.
We are on the camera yet, but what we have is Clint Hintz from Buff and Shine. We're going to have Justin Labato at his shop, and I've got key account manager for North America Flex, Chris Metcalf, here as well with me in the studio. So we've got the new Buff and Shine products, we've got the pads, we've got the clay, and we've got a whole bunch of Flex stuff. Chris, thanks for coming, man.
No, I appreciate being here. It's great.
Yeah.
Great
Clint,
event.
how you doing? If you can hear us and see us. We'll see if he pops on. But anyway, let's talk about some of these great products from Flex while we get the guys from Buff and Shine on.
Yeah, no, this was a challenge, for everybody this year, not having SEMA and being able to show the great products that we have to offer. A few of the items that I think we like to highlight
hey, can you guys hear me?
Cordless products.
We can hear you, Clint. Justin, can we hear us?
Hello? There's no audio. Can you hear them, Clint?
No, I can't hear anything. I can hear you, but I can't hear them.
Okay, well, we can hear Clint, but we'll get those guys to figure it out on that.
I just emailed Dane, so hopefully they'll get it taken care of. But I'm just going to try to read lips, I guess.
That works. That works, Clint. I can hear you guys.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear?
Here's my friend.
There we go. All right, we're back in action, guys. So this is the beauty of live. This is what happens. We're trying to connect everybody from all over the U.S. So, Justin, welcome.
It's all good.
Clint, welcome. Yeah. So, anyway, Chris, what were you going to talk about real quick? We'll get that finished our train of thought.
I was just really talking about the intro to the products. We have the new PXE80, which is such a highlight this year.
Yeah.
It's been a great product. I will be honest, it's been hard to get. We oversold that product. The good news is our containers are all in our warehouse right now, being distributed to all our distributors. I guarantee that. So you can.
And that was what Sydni was using, right?
That was what she was using. The PXE80 on the window. She was using the 12mm throw with a 3-inch pad.
And that was one of the Buff and Shine Eurofoam 3-inch pads.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much we want to go in depth here, but the bottom line, this is a great unit. You're able to do that 3mm unit. This is a quick collar. This is what everybody likes about this product.
Yeah.
So depending on the application and how you're setting it up for your shop, whatever you're doing, you're able to pull that collar and literally remove the head and go to another type of motion. A rotary pad, maybe a 1-inch if you're doing denibbing in a body shop environment, or you're taking out that deep scratch. You can do that with the 1-inch, and then quick change and go right back to the 3-inch.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Cordless unit, obviously it fits well in your hand. Feel that. Just a nice unit all around.
Yeah, it's nicely balanced. Very nicely balanced. Most of the times when you throw a battery on, it'll kind of knock off the balance, when most of the time you can remember in like a corded unit, but this really counterweights the front. So
battery life with the 2 batteries that come with the kit, that'll give you around a 30 to 45 minute run time. We do also have 2 upgraded batteries that you can buy down the road. If you feel you're on a job site or a project that you need a little bit more time, we have a 4-amp one and a 6-amp one.
Yeah.
And basically, with the 4-amp is going to add about 15 minutes, and the 6-amp is going to add another 30 minutes to your runtime.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, cool. So, boys, what do you got for us over there?
Well, hey, howdy.
Can you hear me, Levi?
I can hear you, Clint. I hear you just fine.
How you doing, friend?
Good, man. Justin, how's everything going over there in Florida? Sunny, hopefully warm Florida. It's cold here.
It's raining and cold here today.
Yeah.
A little bit of weather.
Good.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay, sorry.
So if you guys wanted to start your session here, we can go and talk about what we got going on for Buff and Shine this year as well.
No, sounds good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, we hear you just fine.
So yeah, thanks for having us on. Happy Veterans Day. Wanted to definitely throw a shout out to all the veterans out there. I thought that was a nice intro that you and Nick or Dane did for our veterans out there. We wouldn't be doing any of this right now if it hadn't been for the men and women that serve our country. So also wanted to give a shout out to Carolyn and Jeff for having us on, and of course our friends at the Rad Company. This is a really cool thing, and we're learning as we go with this technology stuff, but we're really honored to be here and want to learn to be part of these types of events, which is looking like is going to be more common as time goes on.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Well, thank you guys again for being a part of this. And you guys have some products as well out here today. So we've got you've got the Reflection Artist kits, and then we've also got a new item, right? The clay.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the new items here in a little bit, which Levi, as you know, it was not the easiest. That was like a triple back order from Guam to get that clay over there. So
it literally showed up like an hour and a half ago. So I'm very excited to get it. One of the guys ran in, handed me a box, said, "Here you go." I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for." So perfect timing.
Modern technology at its greatest, but. We do have some new pads that we're going to introduce. I don't have a lot of information about that today, unfortunately, but I did want to have our expert, our lead global consultant, Justin, come on and tell you a little bit about the Reflection Artist line and what the intentions of that pad line was at bringing out. And I'm going to send it over to my good friend and our lead global consultant for Buff and Shine Manufacturing, Justin Labato, in sunny Melbourne, Florida.
Justin, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Levi, but I can't hear a word Clint is saying.
Okay, well, he just threw to you, so it's your turn to talk.
I don't even know what he covered.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, why don't you prompt me on exactly what
hear
he
Justin
covered so I can at least fill the voice so I'm not reiterating everything.
So Clint just said you guys got some new products, but he wanted to throw it to you as the lead global consultant for Buff and Shine, and talk about some of the new products and the Reflection Artist kits and what that's all about. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, my apologies. Not hearing them it leaves me out of the loop. So, however, yeah. So with the Reflection Artist pad line, it was something that we had been working on for a few years prior to introducing it. We fully introduced it, going into the end of last year for SEMA, and then of course for this year for the total rundown of everything that it has to offer and its benefits. The unique thing about the Reflection Artist pad line that stands out is it's a 5-pad system. Some of the pads within the system are existing that have a track record for the Eurotech line. So we have the yellow foam polishing pad, which was very successful, that a lot have come to like for finishing. And then, of course, our maroon.
It's one of my favorites.
Heavy foam. Yep. And this is a great all-in-one as well. A lot of people have found that a good diminishing compound allows you to be able to pair the two and get both cut and finish results, which work very well. But we were finding that there was kind of a void in between both the yellow and the maroon. So that's where we started testing some of the foams that we had in inventory and came up with our heavy polishing pad, the blue one here, which is known as the blueberry pad. This kind of fills the gap in between both those foams. And again, this is a great one-step pad as well, but we found a lot of people were finding other versatility applications with this when it comes to paint correction or enhancement. So that kind of goes in between the two, as you see here.
Yep.
So we have our yellow, our dark blue, and our maroon. And then we get into the fiber-based pads. This kind of closes the gap on more heavy defect removal. And we went with the actual Eurofiber finisher pad, which is very successful in filling the gap between the Eurofiber original pad to be more of a better finish capability. And we didn't want to add that in there because we felt that moving forward into something that is more aggressive, such as this Euro wool that we just released, kind of closes the gap to that. So with these 5 pads, it allows you to have 2 foam-based pads and then 2 fiber-based pads to favor upwards of 70% of most current paint systems on the market to get full correction capability and be able to make it very simplistic, but also kind of utilize the abrasives that you're currently using, the liquid abrasives of whatever brand manufacturer, to work to your best interest and get the full potential out of them. And it keeps it very simple with having that 5-pad kit, as you can see here. The lineup, the color, everything makes it very simple, and it has even a written diagram on the back. You know, because we know that pads in general, when it comes to being a technician and a detailer, it's kind of hard to decipher maybe the color codes between each manufacturer and the purpose and open cell and closed cell, and you know, where it really gets more in depth with the specs on the pads. People want simplicity. They want to be able to know that they could grab this pad and it's a polished pad and it will work good with whatever brand liquid abrasive they're using, whether it be a compound or polish. So the advantage of that is being able to basically have basically an all-in-one universal kit to break it down and get the results you're looking for to become a reflection artist. And the good thing is that most of these pads come in a 6-inch, 5-inch, 3-inch, and then of course our foam pads come in a 2-inch and a 1-inch to accommodate the smaller polishers that those may have in their arsenal to really get into that micro polishing approach. Those that are more specialists at what they do and doing more premium work than that. But yeah, I think that overall covers the grounds of the Reflection Artist Pad Kit and the benefits of it, what it has to offer.
Yeah, and that's one of the really great things about the Reflection Artist Kits is, one, it's universal, like you stated. So whether you're using a Rupes tool or a Flex tool, you're able to utilize this pad system regardless of the machine that you're using, but also regardless of the product, the polishes, the compound, all that stuff. And really all set in a nice little package, which I think is great.
I really like this setup, Justin. I mean, it's great because I see this at a lot of dealers when I go to do these live demos. And it's nice just to be able to pick up a box that really has the versatility that you need for all the different buffers. And it's great on the packaging where you tell everybody these pads are really built for every type of application.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things. And so utilizing that whole Flex, even if you have like what we have here, the full Flex lineup, one of these kits, I mean, whether it's a 5 or the 6, I mean, you're stocked, you're set for each one of these tools.
I think at the dealerships, it's important to know that, these kits are available and it's great for you to buy one of these and really test the product. But then coming back, once you understand what you need for whatever applications, you're able to buy them individually, to refill that arsenal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then, go ahead, Clint.
Sorry, I was going to emphasize that it's the majority, we're taking the majority of what most people would use. We keep it, or I should say we kept it open-ended. Again, with my background being a detailer and operating daily, you have the yellow pad, which yes, you could get into a finer finishing pad. We kept that open-ended for a reason. Same thing with our aggressive wool blend pad. We kept that open-ended because we know there's a lot of other pad options on the market. And for that reason, and a lot of different paint systems and how they finish out. So we kept the finishing end open-ended because there may be, a pad in our lineup, like our white foam or our black foam, that finishes out better than this, or another favorite foam from a different manufacturer that you have that's able to get you the results you need based on that paint system. And the same thing with defect removal. We know that this is great, but we have something more aggressive. We also have twisted wool, so if you've got to go to that level of defect removal, there's also those options there to best get the results you can look for with that pad. And again, emphasizing on majority versus trying to corner the market and say this takes care of everything.
Yeah, and that's really one of the great things too, is like for especially those home hobbyists, those weekend detailers that are maybe getting their feet wet and they're not really sure what pad should I buy. 10 to 1, this is what we usually recommend right here at the Rag Company, is pick up a Reflection Artist Kit, especially if you've just picked up a new tool, you don't know what it's what you need or what you want to do with. It gives you a chance to try everything.
I'll also mention, I know you guys get this question, Clint and Justin, all the time, is this all I need to do my entire car? You really probably, if you're doing a car, should buy 2 or 3 of these kits.
Yeah.
So you have that multi-pad setup for the car, because obviously your pads get dirty and you have to rotate them.
Yeah, well, and if let's say another pad style you don't really care for it, this is a nice sample also to grab, try it out. And one thing that I love about them is they're paired so well for regardless whatever tool you want to use, because sometimes we get a pad that maybe doesn't always work with a flex, or maybe doesn't always work with a Rupes, and that's one of the neat things about this system is it works universally.
Yeah.
So that makes it probably the best thing. So.
Yeah, and that's built on the experience of the demo team. I got to give those guys credit. We built a team of guys from around the country that are both, super involved with the industry at IDA level. They've gone through Renny's training, so I mean they're very well off in their business, and they're vetted through the craftsmanship of what they do. So being able to get these different fiber-based pads or foam-based pads out to them individually and how they operate, whether it be production or boutique style detailing, they're able to basically push these pads to the limit. And that's what will allow us to validate that they could work at every level that somebody's going to push them to, and know that they are going to offer exactly what we're saying and the versatility that you had mentioned.
Yep. Cool. Thanks, man. So what else do you guys want to talk about with Buff and Shine or with Flex? We've got plenty of time.
Got some new products here, it looks like.
Clint, tell me about the clay, man. What's going on with that? Like, this is new for you guys, right?
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. But I think you asked about the new clay.
I did.
Okay. Well, let me say this, and I'll apologize because it's probably me and my computer, but my audio is going crazy. I think there's two Justins talking, and there's one. One is enough of Justin. Love you, brother. But no, the clay. Actually, something that, if you know Buff and Shine, we specialize in pads. That's what we do. We don't do tools and liquids and things like that. We do have some select quality resale items, and we sold clay for a period of time. And we have been looking for clay for, I would have to say, since I've been at Buff and Shine, which has almost been 3 years. And we finally, very organically, found a company that really just gave us everything we wanted with the clay. We understand there's clay towels. We understand there's clay mitts. We understand there's other bars of clay. So for us to kind of, bring this to the market, we needed to make sure that we had something that was as good, if not better, than what was out there. And I owe Justin and the rest of the demo team, which I'd like Justin to talk about, that a little bit, some of the testing and R&D that was put into it. But what we decided about the clay is that we wanted it to be a little different. We wanted it to be 100-gram bars as opposed to 200-gram bars, because we hear so many stories of guys and gals saying, well, we cut our bar in half.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have some unique colors. We wanted to have some nice retail packaging. We really wanted to make this thing special, and we got it. And I think that all of the packaging and the colors and all that stuff aside, I think the winner with this product is the performance of the clay. And that's where, if Justin doesn't mind, I'd like for him to talk a little bit about that R&D process and getting us to this place.
So Justin, tell us, so Clint was just giving us a little rundown on the clay, but he said you are the master at this and the development and how you guys went about figuring out a clay. Right? I mean, I know exactly what you guys have been trying to do. It's hard to find a good quality clay. For a number of years, there was really only one manufacturer that kind of had a lock on the market. But there are unique situations where some really nice clay makes its way out.
There's 200 grams in there too,
yeah.
So you get 2 bars, and it also is in a nice Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to talk about the development, Justin, a little bit?
Yeah, so, and nice to be able to hear, because now I'm on the same page as what he's already covered, so I'm not reiterating it. So, we went through a couple different providers of the clay material, to say, keep it vague, and, testing them in my traditional approach with having a shop again and with the demo teams having a shop. Clay is always one of those things that some clays break down with just soap and water. They're just cheaply made. And it's like, well, why I can spend, $20, $30 on clay if it's just going to degrade almost after a use? I mean, we should be able to get quite a few uses out of this on average, right? And And then some could be overly aggressive or underly aggressive. And I think the biggest issue that I was finding that was puzzling is that the way that they were marketed in their claims at the level of aggression that they were delivering on. Because, I know that some technicians, detailers in the industry will claim that, you could clay something without marring it. But let's be honest here, it's high-tech Play-Doh, as Mike Phillips would say, and it's something that does mar the paint essentially. It has abrasion, it is aggressive. So we wanted to find that happy medium for each grade, but also be realistic on the claims of marketing that it delivers on. And I think that was the biggest thing that I wanted to start with. And then once we did find something, is figuring out how it degrades at what level. Using different soaps from a couple different manufacturers that we work with, using acid-based cleaners and alkaline-based cleaners, and just letting it sit in like a little cup. And seeing how many days it takes to degrade. I mean, gosh, it looked like on my desk at the shop like we were playing beer pong with little clay pieces. So, and it's sad, and we had a better understanding, and we may not have had the full chemical makeup of how the material was made, but at least we had an understanding of how it can perform and break down. And that's what led to the success of me testing it and the demo teams testing it on different levels. One being in Alaska where it's super cold, and me being in Florida where it's super hot. So it allowed us to understand the value of what it can do in those geographic markets as well under those conditions.
Right.
And once we came to terms with the results that we were happy with, that's when we were like, all right. And then from there, we played with a couple different packaging ideas and how to get the artwork on the packaging and what was different versus the old clam box, where you'd have it in the old clam box and you break it open, which is still a good way. There's no shade that can be thrown on that, but we just wanted to have something that was completely different of an approach, especially how you store it. And coming up with the Ziploc baggie kind of idea was really where it's at. And then again, the size, having that happy medium of size where it's not too much or of course too little either. I've seen in some cases where people are paying $20, $30 for 100-gram bars, and it's like, really, it's not gold, it's clay form. So so we wanted to find the happy medium on that. And I think with we're not coming to the market with anything new, but we wanted to kind of reinvent it based on the Reflection Artist brand and how we are reinventing ourselves with Buff and Shine, and having more of that brand culture. We wanted to bring something cool to the market that worked, that could be added to the arsenal amongst the other things that are being used.
Yeah, and that's really the best way. It's funny, most people don't realize the amount of stuff that goes into product development and how much testing. You got to have to deal with the temperatures. You've got to do all that stuff because it has to work for everyone all over the world. So I found a glove in the bag.
That's really cool.
The little plastic little glove here. So
that's right.
What's this for?
Well, obviously, and I think that I think maybe Automagic or somebody puts a little piece of cellophane in their clay, but the cellophane, the whole idea of the cellophane is to intensify your sense of touch after you wash the car, to see what type of contaminants are still in that paint. And I'll tell you what, for the 25 years I've been selling, most of those years liquids and whatnot, I would tell customers and distributors, a clay job should be one of the easiest sales that you ever have, because you don't have to use your sharp words to sell. You can actually take these two fingers and have somebody actually put that cellophane on the paint, and they can see, feel how much dirt is in their paint. And then when you describe to them and say, hey, do you want to put wax on top of your dirt, or don't you want to remove the dirt from the paint prior to doing a wax or a buff process, it makes more sense to a consumer.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing is a lot of people don't, they see a clean car and they're like, wow, it's clean. It looks fine, feels fine. But the moment you make them touch a car with either a Ziploc bag or this graciously provided cellophane glove, it really changes the game, because they're like, I never knew my paint was that dirty.
You really don't until you use that. And the first time you use that, it's eye-opening to touch your paint with that cellophane. I sometimes will find someone that has a cigarette pack.
Yeah.
And I like the cigarette pack, method, the cellophane around that. But that cellophane in there is great that it comes with your kit. So
yeah, and
well,
it
the reason
kicks.
that we had the cellophane put in was because Chris, we are promoting for people to stop smoking.
That's right. That's right. But that's one of the things that people don't Well, that's one of the things that people don't understand. Like, your pads will work better when the surface is clean.
Yeah.
Your tool will work better when when all those surface contaminants are removed. Because, I mean, try as we might, you can wash a car, you can try and buff it, but really breaking it down with the clay and knocking all those contaminants out prior to doing that is going to save you so much time. You're going to get better results. It's going to make your tool run smoother. It's going to make the pad run smoother. It's really an all-inclusive setup. So, I mean, it's kind of fun that we've got literally everything right here, and what we just showed with PNS to really get your car looking the best it possibly
just bring
can.
the whole package together really is what
Right.
we're doing.
Absolutely. You know, another thing I did want to bring up is, working for Buff and Shine is, it's very rewarding. I don't really always like the timeliness of innovation and things, but when we do things, we do it right. And when it came to the clay, I was very impressed with the process because it probably was 6 or 8 months before we actually, signed on the dotted line and said, okay, this is what we're going to commit to. And it was because of the demo team.
Yeah.
And the demo team consists of more than just Justin. There's 5 other guys with the demo team that are geographically stationed around the country so that we can get a realistic, whether it's a buffing pad or whether it's clay or no matter what it is, we can get a realistic, feedback if it's in Alaska, Northern California, Southern California, Florida, Texas, Ohio. And we want that because Clint and Julio don't need to be deciding 100% what new items come out. We need guys and gals that are out there in the field every day doing, 2 to 10 to 30 cars to really tell us what we have and what we don't have.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the, like I said earlier, people don't think about all the hard work that goes into this kind of stuff and the blood, sweat, and tears or the revisions or, some people think clay bars are a clay bar, but there are so many variations in the industry now. And there's so many ones that, you grab one and you don't realize how badly it damages a car or how fine it is that it doesn't even break. It can't even get through the surface contaminants. So, just feeling these and the fact that you guys did, it's one of my favorite things. And it's one thing that Optimum used to do when they provided clay was 200 milligram bars in each kit. And that was just the perfect amount, without having to cut it.
Buff and Shine just built in a buy one get one free there.
Basically
what they did.
that's what it feels like, right? So
well, the innovation too.
Actually, we did, Chris. We have a buy one get one free, and then for every buy one get one free, it's a 10% off any Flex product. So we got a good promotion going.
That's great.
There you go. Yeah.
I was going to
Perfect.
say, Levi, the innovation behind making that kit is the previous clay bar offerings from manufacturers. It was just bland. It was simple.
Yeah.
It was the box. It was the clay bar. So being able to package it the way we did, so now somebody who's a distributor can also give it to a consumer, which we know the consumer market is way bigger than what we are within the detail industry itself. That allows them to understand the purpose of the clay, because I don't know how many customers you've dealt with in your business that with some of the marketing claims that these clays make, showing the box with water spots on it. I get so many customers be telling me that they think that the clay bar can remove water spots. And there's just those little things that were like, it was just, just pulling my hair out trying to explain.
I've got a funny story. Back in the very, very old days, the very advent of the clay sponge, one of the companies claimed it removed swirl marks. And I said, that's impossible. That is absolutely impossible. That doesn't work that way, but, it is what it is.
Well, if you rub hard enough, you push that polymer.
I'm sure you could. You would put in a different scratch pattern.
But with looking at the packaging and really paying close attention to that for consumer and detailer on the detail of what it explains, being accurate, and then the plastic, the baggy trick. We owe credit. That's a standing trick that's been in the industry, and Mike Phillips really marketed that a lot with the baggy trick. All due credit to him. So nobody was putting a glove or cellophane in the packaging. And
Yeah.
so that, again, that's added value. That's marketing for the end user detailer that could, give that to his customer to say, hey, check this out as they're opening up the clay bar to show them. And then, it's marketing for us, of course, at Buff and Shine, but overall it just closes the gap on being able to have these little tools that just make the experience of buying clay much greater than the traditional, here's the box, here's the clay, what color you need.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Well
perfect.
said.
Very well thought out, guys. I'm really excited to start playing with this stuff and getting some feedback because it looks good. You pick some great colors, the green and the orange for the green for fine and orange for medium. So there you guys can see that. So pretty cool.
Well, I'm glad you're going to check it out, Levi, because I'm expecting a huge PO by the end of the year.
After this segment, right?
Yeah, hopefully after this segment we'll be able to get it going.
What are you
Yes,
laughing about,
Dane.
Metcalf? I expect some from you too.
Yeah. So Dane's got a question from the internet. So go ahead, Dane.
Justin, this may go over your face. All right, here we go. So Ricky Cologne is asking about the availability of the clay pack. He had to switch devices during the stream, so he thought he maybe missed it.
Availability on the clay pack. I'm going to say December 1st as a date that we should have the clay available. I do know that Julio has pricing, packaging, minimum order quantity for distributors, all that stuff available currently. But I can tell you this, the clay from whoever is creating it for us is on the way, and it is expected here late this month. So I'm expecting that we'll have it ready to go by December 1st.
All right, perfect.
Okay,
and,
that's pretty
you
quick.
guys, if you are wanting to become a potential distributor for Buff and Shine, you're able to go to TRCMA.com and you'll be able to click on the link for Buff and Shine, and you'll get information. You'll get an email address right there. You guys can go and send an email to the gang over there and get, set up to become a distributor for the clay or the Reflection Artist kits right then and there. So
Absolutely. And I've also got one more. Oops, sorry.
Go ahead, Clint.
Didn't mean to cut off there.
Sorry, Levi. If you go to our website and you get on buffandshine.com, right at the top, a little bit to the right, you'll see a tab for distributors. And those are our online retailers, which we have quite a few that cover North America. If you are not interested in a quote-unquote route truck wagon driver coming to your shop, if you prefer to shop on the internet, we have numerous online retailers. For all of the newer pads in the Euro line with the clay, some of our new items, we try to police our MAT policy, our MAT pricing policy best we can, so that you can be comfortable to go to any website to get what you need and know that it's not that there may not be a promotion available, but that pricing is all pretty standard.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Dane, any more questions?
Yeah, there were a couple here. Let me go and pull up the one I had previously here. It was actually kind of a clay bar maintenance question.
Okay.
That'll be Justin.
Here we go. Okay, so G-Man is asking, is keeping our clay bars in a baggie with a spritz or two of, say, Instant Detailer proper storage practice?
It's not bad storage practice. I would go with it. You have a little bit of the spray lube to help the clay from not sticking to the bag, but
Sure.
a lot of times the clay sticking to the bag, I feel, has to do with heat, humidity, and things of that nature. But that can be very helpful, and keep it in the bag. And just make sure you don't get a really cheap bag, because sometimes if it does tend to stick, you're pulling little bits and pieces of the baggie off the clay if it does. But if you're having success with it, then yeah, that's a good way of storing it. Keeping it away from contaminants is key, so keep doing what you do.
Yeah,
Great.
the other
Thanks,
thing that I recommend is wax paper. So wax paper is very easy, very inexpensive to buy.
Fold it up.
Yeah, you can get yourself a roll at the grocery store, but you can cut a couple strips and fold that clay bar back up inside of it, and then you can either put it back in the bag, store it. It's an easy way because it doesn't stick to the bar. And that's one of the biggest things, especially like Justin said, with the humidity and all that kind of stuff. It'll hold it and keep it covered and protected from other contaminants, but when you need to go use it again, you can pull it off and you don't have any issues with it sticking to
I
it.
love that. That's awesome.
Now,
Very
I did
simple.
have one more here for you. I'm
Yep.
just going to pull it up on the screen. Sorry, covering your faces again. Frank N. is asking, how do I determine which color clay to use? Now, I did see you had labels on them, so it actually specifies from what I saw.
Yeah, so the orange is a medium, and the green is fine. So like I'm sure Justin would tell us, the biggest thing is contamination and the level of contamination.
How old is the car? You know, what conditions has it been kept in, outside or in a garage? Those are all questions you ask when you first check in that car.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys want to chime in.
I was going to say, don't limit your arsenal. Have both. That way, you know, you start with the least aggressive, and if that's not working, then you have to move into the next level up. And if you don't have one or the other, then you're gonna corner yourself and not being able to do the job right. So, you know, start with the least aggressive clay and then work your way up. Just do a small test spot. You know, maybe find the most contaminated or moderately contaminated area to kind of do as a test spot and see what kind of results you get there, and then determine what you think you need to do. And then, you know, depending upon what the kind of contaminants are, there may be other decontamination options that you have to exercise along with the clay. So it's just, you know, being educated on what those options are and being able to exercise those options and having everything in your arsenal to do it.
Yep. And you'll know.
Right. I mean, it's really the same, you know, when you do your test spot, when you buff, you don't automatically get your most aggressive pad and your most aggressive compound. You know, you start light and you do your test spot and you work up as you need there. So I thought Justin said that perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of always a rule of thumb. Plus, in that test spot, you'll know pretty quick. If the fine isn't working, you bump up to the medium. You'll know that very easily. And that way you're not, you know, going too hard in the paint, as we like to say.
Now, I have a question here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I was going to say, I would recommend that, of course, if you get into having to go very aggressive with the clay bar, a lot of downward pressure, and you're getting into a heavy overspray or not defect, but contaminant removal, just be ready to know that you need to set yourself up to be able to come back and follow up with that with most likely some compounding and polishing.
Yeah.
So that way you're not, you know, going into the job saying, oh yeah, we can get that out, and then you start to get into it and you're like, damn, I got to upgrade to the next clay bar up, but then you also backed yourself into a corner because you didn't sell yourself on a compound, you sold yourself on a light enhancement polish, and you're not really removing the scratches that you put in. So just from a business perspective, just be mindful.
Make sure you're getting paid.
Yeah, what approach you need to take in order to cover your butt on getting paid.
Yep. There you go.
Now, I did just have a couple other ones here. This one's actually directed at Chris over at Flex there. This guy here, Contra, I'll pull it up on the screen here. Once again, covering your faces. I'm sorry. He says, Flex has the least decibel among Rupas and other brands. How do I know? I tested them out. So can you speak maybe to like sounds of machines? Because I know, you know, sound protection, stuff like that is important for operators. So can you speak a little to that?
I think this is a good segue to maybe mention about the new XCE 10-8. You know, it is our new XC 3401. So our new beast, you know, the original beast, which is the XC 3401 VRG, that unit is a 13-year-old product, I believe is the time frame. And it was a loud unit. It had the bell housing would get warm as you worked with it, all of those different things. And when we came up with the new unit, the XCE 10-8, those features were all things that we thought of. So this unit is quite a bit different as far as the decimals of sound go. And then also the decimal of sounds in the cordless units, it's a lot less. In this unit, because of the different types of motions that we've designed in here and the way that the gears and bearings work in here, it is a lot quieter unit. It's smoother, quieter, and just an all-around better unit. And the old, you know, not the old, the original version, there's nothing wrong with it. It's still a great unit. It's still available. We just came out with something that we took care of a lot of those points that people would always point out to us. And then talking about the cordless units, you know, just kind of segueing into that, you know, these cordless units are brushless motors. So you have a lot different technology in here than most people are used to with a corded or some of the cordless units out there. This is a brushed motor where you have carbon being burnt. It has a lot more copper on the inside of it. This has a computer chip in here which is telling the motor how to turn, and it's also communicating with the battery and really giving you that longer life of runtime. So, you know, that decimals, you're going to see the power tools are going to continue to get quieter and have longer run times because as, you know, things evolve, those are things that we look at to make it a better environment for you working in the detail market.
Yeah. There you go. Nice.
No, excellent. Thanks, guys. Okay,
What else
so
you got, Dane?
kind of looking through here, I definitely had some other comments just about different testing products. It looked like in his own independent testing, he was comparing other machines and said that the Flex overall was about 20 decibels quieter than the other machines. So that was definitely a mark in its favor. Let's take a look down the line. While I'm looking, why don't you guys go ahead and keep talking there? I'm just going to do a little fishing expedition.
Some of the new stuff here, a lot more battery power technology coming from Flex, and then a new lighting system as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about the lighting system. This is cool. Why don't you hold this? Don't look at the lens. The camera can look at the lens, but I'm going to pull up my my Bluetooth on my phone, the Flex Light app, so you can pull that up and download that when you have this unit.
Okay.
But with the app, he's not touching any of the buttons. I'm able to physically turn the light on. I'm able to adjust it. Whoa, let's turn that back down. You know, so you can make those adjustments. You can change the color of the light. I think the lens can pick that up on the camera. Where you're really able to do the different lights or the different
color temperatures
that works best for you and your environment. I was at a paint and body thing last week, and this was great for the paint and body guys because they're trying to color match and they're change the temperature of the light to really be able to look to see what color they needed. But as a detailer, I think in an environment like this where we have all these great lights in your shop, maybe this works or doesn't work, but I know a lot of people, that are watching this right now have shops that probably don't have this type of lighting.
I'll just say I don't have this type of lighting in the MOSHQ. These are all controllable, so we can change color temperature in all of these throughout the whole studio, which is very exciting. But
well, if you can't afford these lights,
if you can't afford these, you can get these guys, and that helps a lot.
So these are available through your Flex dealers that are out there. They're a great setup. I'm going to turn that off, and I'll hold it real quick just and show you. Everybody says when they first see this, this was first shown as a demo unit at SEMA last year, and these are available now. But it looks like something that comes from ScanGrip, and it is because it does come from ScanGrip. We collaborated with them. They came to us and said, hey, would you like to include your battery system in our program? And that's where this comes from. This does not come with a plug-in cord. So when you buy this, you do have to have our battery system. And it works with either our 12-volt battery or our 18-volt batteries. It works with both the 18-volt 5-amp or the 2.5 amp. And that's how you charge the internal battery. So it does also have an internal battery. Say you run out of batteries that are fully charged, you can still run the light with the internal battery.
Oh, okay.
While you're charging your battery. But the Bluetooth feature is awesome.
And then it's also got a 1 amp USB in the back there.
It does.
USB-A and
throw this on your tripod and be able to use that USB and really be able to charge like your phone or something while you're working.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love that?
Yeah,
of course.
Now, I do have a few more comments here for you guys if you're ready.
Okay, Dane, that's fine. You can bring them up while I talk about this. But I noticed, like, I've seen Justin on the road. I've seen, Clint on the road. I've seen, Kyle Clark on the road. And one of the fun things that I've noticed is there's another attachment that Flex has where they actually charge their cell phones using these battery packs. So they're able to link in, set some stuff up. It's one of those things where I'm like, what, is that a giant? And he's like, no, dude, it's one of these guys.
He just starts daisy chaining.
Yeah.
It is something that's available worldwide. We don't have it available in the U.S. yet, but it is a USB slide-on thing. It could come down the road. And really, by people watching stuff like this and they see those things out there by asking us those questions or demanding that product, that's when we bring it in. So
yeah. Well, I always thought it was one of the coolest little things I've ever seen. I'm like,
I've got one in my bag over there.
Phones. Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. So.
All right, so I had 3 comments I wanted to touch on. A couple for Chris, and then one good one for the guys over at Buff and Shine. So I'll hit Chris with these first, and then we'll touch off with Buff and Shine. So first of all, I had Kirby Thompson here. He just wanted to say that that light is great. They love using it in Mike Phillips' class.
Awesome.
Cool. And then following up, I had Frank N., who said, on the new Flex 3-inch battery-operated polisher you showed, will the larger battery packs hit the surface when the pad is flat? I love the swappability.
I mean, I can kind of show you. I mean, if the camera can see that. I mean, you've got good,
that's good
area
clearance.
below that. There's
Yeah.
good clearance. I think it's still a safe distance from the car. The 2.5 obviously is significantly different. About half, I guess, maybe 3/4 of the size. But even with the larger battery, it does still feel well balanced. And it feels good in your hand when you're holding it.
Okay, no, I think that really answers that. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so now I'm going to kick it over to the Buff and Shine guys. Let's pull this one up here. I have Platinum Auto Glass and Window Tint asking, does Buff and Shine have a dedicated pad for glass? Right now I'm using a 3-inch pad made for glass as I'm using Ceraglass on the windshield. Glass coatings last much longer when the glass is polished first.
I absolutely agree. The glass coatings do last much longer, just like the previous video and how-to for the Clarity glass cream from PNS. And Sydney and them made some really good points about that back in the same statement that you made. However, no, we don't make any for glass, like especially for glass right now. It's something that is on our radar in the future, but as of right now, unfortunately, no, we don't. So.
But any of the 3-inch pads from Buff and Shine will work with Clarity Cream or any other glass polish. So
yeah, I was going to say there's no reason you can't use one of the others.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But if you're looking for that dedicated like Ryon pad that is made specifically for that, then unfortunately no. But yeah, the foam, and typically what we use is between the maroon and the blue, and that's our go-to pad.
And Sydney was using the maroon.
Yeah, and that's what Sydney was using was the maroon on the glass. So. Yeah.
No, excellent. I think that rounds that out. Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about here before we kind of reach the end of the hour?
Well, I'd like to bring. Go ahead, Justin. You go first.
I would just say there's one major thing that I failed to mention about the benefits of the Reflection Artist pad line is, it's made for all machine types, meaning that gear-driven, rotary, long throw, standard DA. So, anybody who has
that written back here.
Yeah, do these pads work for this machine? And complementing all of what Chris has there with the Flex brand, that's where a lot of them were tested. Don't get me wrong, we use root pads as well, but a lot of that was geared toward what a lot of the testing were with the Flex brand machines, along with 21 mil throw machines as well. But the only pad I would say that you just wouldn't want to use on a rotary would just be, of course, the Eurofiber finisher.
Right.
At the end of the day, no one ever recommends a microfiber pad on a rotary. Have people done it? Have I seen it on social media? I've seen everything on social media.
Yeah, you could do it.
Look hard enough, you can find anything.
That's
from a professional perspective, and I might just be a tad bit professional, I would say don't use this on a rotary.
Well, and like we said, yesterday we had the Rupes guys here, and that was one of their big things too. Is it's, microfiber, and us as a microfiber manufacturer, what people don't realize, microfiber cuts like a samurai sword. It slices clear, and if you put it on a rotary machine, you've got a single direction machine that is designed to cut as fast as possible. Then you put on a microfiber pad. You may not even have any clear and paint left when you're done with it. So again, don't ever do that. It's not recommended. Rotary really loves wool, likes foam, and that's why we recommend those things. So.
Yeah, and that's where these perform very well with being able to use on a rotary as well. Outside of that, microfiber finisher.
Cool.
All right.
Well, I wanted to bring up real quick. If it's
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I wanted to thank you guys. This has been a learning experience for Justin, Julio, and I, but it's been great. We are honored to be involved and even to share our time with you, Mr. Metcalf, our friend. I'm waiting for that check in the mail, by the way. I do want the viewers to know that, it's been a strange year this year, but I can tell you this. We've probably done more work in regards to communicating on innovation, new pads, technology, changes in our systems. We've probably done more work, and I know Justin can contest this year. So I want everybody to understand we have some really cool things aside of the clay, more with buffing pads that we're going to be introducing next year. And with help from Justin and the demo team, we've had nothing but successful launches these last couple of years, and we're expecting nothing less. Last thing, and then I promise I won't close my mouth. But, Justin started a podcast that he's doing every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he had his actual second one today. And we have a lot of time and effort into this, and I think it's going to be a little bit different than some of the other podcasts that are out there. So make sure you check out our social media platforms and find out when Justin's podcast is. Our website is www.thebuffandshine.com, and just really appreciate what you guys do. It's an honor to be here today.
No, thank you for joining us. And absolutely, guys, go check that out. And I'm sure we can throw a link down in the description or something, make it easy for them. I'll get to that later. I kind of have to wear a lot of different hats, but that's okay. Anyway, Levi, anything before I take us out of here?
That's it, Dane. Justin, Clint, thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for all of you guys tuning in. Chris, thank you for making your way all the way here, hanging out with us and being able to talk to us about everything. And yeah, thank you guys for all being a part of this, and I hope you enjoyed this last hour. Dane, take us home.
Okay, so back to me then. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this first part of our day. Obviously, it's been a fun 2-hour block, but they go by pretty quick. So now we're going to take our lunch break, and then coming up later today, we will have another 2-hour block full of more detailing and car goodness. You know, you can expect it here at TRCMA. Now, obviously, if you're looking for details, trcma.com is where you can get the rest of the schedule as well as upcoming events. All that stuff can be found there. And yeah, let us go get some lunch. We'll see you in a couple hours. Bye.